This episode of Taste of the Valley is brought to you by Saladino's, connecting family, friends, and food. Welcome to Taste of the Valley. I'm your host, Andreas Borges, and in today's episode, it's all about beer. We're here at Full Circle Brewing Company in downtown Fresno, off F and Ventura, not too far from Chichansi Stadium. And I'm joined by my special co-host, James Collier of TasteFresno.com and Paprika Studios, and we're going to be heading later on over to Sequoia Brewing Company to participate in a hamburger challenge called the
Yeti Challenge.
All right, well before then, it's all about beer. Cheers.
Cheers.
We're here with Don Anderson, who's the owner of Full Circle Brewing Company in downtown Fresno. Thanks so much, Don, for giving us a tour of your establishment.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
So I'm looking at all these different pieces of equipment, and I got to tell you, you got to help explain to me and the viewers what makes your beer unique.
Well, sure. Well, first of all, the brewing process. You know, it's very much like making a pot of coffee. We start out by milling the grain, then we steep the grain and rinse all of the fermentable sugar out of there. That all happens right in this tank right here. This is called our mash tun.
Okay.
And in the bottom of this thing, it has a false bottom in there, so the bottom's up above the actual bottom, and it's graded like with screen, so that the grain sits on top, then the liquid can run through there. Once it does that, we collect it on the other side, pumped up to that tank there, which is where we do the actual boil of the beer.
Okay.
We may do our hop additions up there, add the hops to the boiling beer. The unfermented beer is wort. Now once it's fermented and in the tank, then it becomes beer. So we take our wort here, we boil it, we add the hops, then the next step is to cool it down. So we run it through these two pipes out here, are the heat exchangers.
Right in through here, so it's hot and it's met with the cold water?
Yes, the cold water and the hot beer pass by each other, and the heat is transferred from one to the other.
Okay.
Then the cold beer we take on down to our fermentation room there, add the yeast, go through the fermentation process.
Is that when it becomes beer?
Well, once the fermentation is completed, which takes about 15 days for the yeast to convert all the fermentable sugars into alcohol and carbon dioxide. Once that's done, then it becomes beer. And we take it off of the yeast. We do a process we call racking, where we move it from one tank to the next. After we rack the beer, we let it sit there for about 30 days, which is uncharacteristic of most of the microbreweries out there nowadays.
And why is that?
Well, because most people are concerned about, you know, money, time is money. Quick, and they want to get it turned around. And so they filter the beer after about 21 days or, you know, a month.
And you don't do that?
And we don't use any filtration here. Everything is all naturally carbonated and naturally aged and fermented and clarified naturally.
Is there really an alcohol difference between wine versus beer?
Well, I don't know that the alcohol is any different, but the character, the flavor profiles, everything about it is different. The process of fermentation is different. Beer is very difficult. Sanitation is very key in beer.
Well, and that sort of goes to the history of beer. We had heard from folks in the past that beer has been around for millennia or more, and it part of the origin is that it started with honey, and some of the monastic communities would create beer as a way to protect the fluid that they would take in.
Absolutely.
And maybe you can talk about the history of that.
Well, all of the beer that we make comes from some historical reference. For instance, our 1850 London Porter comes from a recipe that was developed by a group of guys in England called the Durden Park Beer Circle back around 1800. And at that point, they were interested in preserving the historical beers. So they went and cataloged all the beer that they could find from all over Europe, got as many recipes as they could, and so they printed a book that was like a manual of their beers.
So I was drinking this earlier, and this is your stout, if I remember correctly.
Yes, the Russian Imperial Stout.
Russian Imperial Stout. And this has an alcohol of about 11%. Would you say this is from that Durden
Well,
school?
actually, it is, because this recipe is our porter, our 1850 London Porter recipe, double batched. In other words, twice the grain, twice the hops, twice the ingredients.
Is that why it tastes
in the same volume?
So intense and
so
good.
It's intense. It's consolidated and made into well, what you have there.
Wow. Well, no doubt there's a story behind all the beers here over at Full Circle Brewing Company, and I'm excited to learn a little bit more about the collection that you have here, Don. So thank you for taking the time, and hopefully we can head over to the bar and have a little bit more.
You bet. It's been my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Stay tuned. After the break, we'll be chatting with the czar of downtown Fresno, Craig Sharton. Welcome back to Taste of the Valley. We're here with Craig Sharton, the Director of Downtown and Community Revitalization at the City of Fresno. Craig, it's great to have you here today.
It's great to be here, Andreas.
And we're at Full Circle Brewing Company, and we have an assortment of beers in front of us. I mean, we have a cream ale over here, a brown ale, barley, a London Porter, and all sorts of assortment of beers. And which one is your favorite of them all?
Well, you know, I like the darker beers. So this Imperial Stout is fantastic, but it is stout.
So it's pretty heavy.
It's pretty strong, and they'll only serve it to you in half pints because it packs a punch, but it's got a lot of great flavor. I always like reds, but everything here is great. When we were just over at the bar, the guy just got a growler of Clusterfuggle right here, the cream ale.
Clusterfuggle.
And they'll, right from the draft, they'll give you a bigger beer that you can take home for a football party or something.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
well,
great.
Without further ado, we definitely have to try a little bit
Which
of
one are we going
the
to try?
porter.
I'll try that one.
And this is, cheers. Wow.
That's good stuff.
This stout, I think this is the stout, is at 11% alcohol, which whops a little punch, but it's very flavorful, very fruity.
It's got a good body.
Definitely,
good.
Definitely. But I wanted to ask you, Craig, Full Circle is located downtown, and of course you're the director of the Downtown and Community Revitalization, otherwise known as DCR, in Fresno. Tell us why Full Circle is important to the downtown initiative.
Well, I mean, this is the kind of business that it really embodies everything about downtowns. It's locally owned. It's from a person who started a business because they love making mead and they love making beer, two very unusual kind of hobbies, and they turned that into a business. So they're doing it for their passion. So it's not a big chain. It's not something you're going to find anywhere else. It's a unique to Fresno, unique to the Valley kind of a business, and that'll bring people in from all over.
So it being centrally located in downtown, folks, if they want to get involved in downtown, all you have to do is come not too far from Chichancy Park to Full Circle Brewing Company, and that's part of the revitalization effort, is just to get people downtown.
Yeah, we always make it into this big gigantic project, but it's really easy. You come down to a place like this, you meet the owner. Many nights he has local musicians playing here. A lot of local songwriters are here. He has some of his own festivals here on the grounds next door during the summertime, so it's just a great atmosphere. And really, when you think about it, that's what makes up a great city.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Well, I've definitely enjoyed the time that you've been able to share with us, Craig. And cheers to the stout, and you're drinking the porter, if I remember correctly.
That's right. Thanks.
Cheers. After the break, we'll be talking more with Don Anderson from Full Circle Brewing Company. So we're back here with Don Anderson of Full Circle Brewing Company in downtown Fresno. Don, thanks so much for showing us around your facilities in your beer making process. Maybe we can learn a little bit more about you and how you got started in the beer making industry.
Well, sure. I started as a hobby back in about 1983, I guess. I was participating in Renaissance fairs, and
as in jousting and
yeah, jousting and all that stuff was going on. But my interest was the historical aspect of it, and I got involved with the cuisine and beverages of the period. And one thing led to another, and I started making beer.
So is that like mead? Was that common back in those days?
They consider mead to maybe be the very first alcoholic beverage. And
Really?
I think there might be some validity to that, just because of the fact that it could naturally occur. If old beehive got smashed and was exposed to the atmosphere and it rained and got water on it, then as soon as that honey was diluted, then it could ferment, and then that fermentation would make alcohol, and somebody stumbled across that, and hey, it'd be really good.
Interesting. Now, you're located near Chinatown in downtown Fresno.
Right.
Chinatown's just right up the street.
Yes.
And this is not the first beer hall that Chinatown has had. There was an earlier version that we saw in Pop Laval pictures.
Right.
Of
the
a beer.
Feretta's Beer Garden, I believe it was called, and it was down F Street here a little ways, on the other side of Kern, down by what was called the Holly Department Store down there, and it was an outdoor facility. And we saw those photos and thought, boy, we should move down there to Chinatown and open up a brewery. Well, be careful what you think about.
So you were in Clovis before.
Yeah, I was working for the city of Clovis. I worked on the water wells over there for a number of years.
Waterwell's beer. I mean, I see the connection.
Well, water to wine, water to beer,
Yeah, very biblical of you.
But no, we love it here. We came down here, we started looking around because of our finding about the beer garden down there and everything. We went down there and looked at that location, and then we found this place. And when the fellow that showed me the building rolled up the front door and I looked inside and I saw this, my first thought was, oh, this is perfect. I'll never be able to afford it. But I told the guy, what I had in mind, what I wanted to do. He got very excited about it, thought it was great, and bent over backwards to help us accomplish this.
That's fantastic. This used to be
it was the garage for the
post office. What a perfect place for a beer hall. So we had an historical beer hall over in Chinatown decades ago that was memorialized by Pop Laval, and now we have this over here. If people want a piece of history, they want a place to entertain, they want to come over to Full Circle Brewery. Now, how do they take the beer to go?
Well, currently we're not bottling any beer. We don't have any beer out in the marketplace. The only way to get the beer is to come here, drink it over the bar, or we have this convenient half-gallon jug we call the growler.
And so, can anyone buy your beer anywhere else but Full Circle Brewing Company over off of Ventura?
No, it's only available here.
But they can take it home.
You can take it home, you can get a half a gallon to go, and bring the jug back for refills as many times as you'd like to.
That's great.
And we package the beer, as well as our homemade root beer in there.
Homemade root beer as well. Well, tell us, the viewers are going to want to know, what makes Full Circle Brewing Company uniquely Fresno? Where do you get your products from, and do you make it all here?
Well, yes, everything we produce is made here. Everything we serve here, we produce. All of our fruits and honey and all of the ingredients that we can get from the local market, we do. The hops and the grain all come from the Pacific Northwest.
This is truly a Fresno establishment, and we're excited that you're here. We're excited that you've got fantastic beer. We've seen quite an assortment and tasted quite an assortment earlier on. And for folks that want to be part of the revitalization effort, it's as simple as having a beer at Full Circle Brewery.
Sure, come on down.
Don, thanks so much for your time.
Andreas,
it's been a wonderful
pleasure.
experience.
Thanks very much for coming in.
Cheers. Stay tuned. After the break, we'll be taking on the Yeti Challenge at Sequoia Brewing Company. We're here with Chef Albert Franco at Sequoia Brewing Company. Chef Albert, thanks so much for taking the time
to
show us how we make the Yeti Challenge. Tell us what the Yeti is.
All right, it's basically your lunch and dinner all in one. We have a whole lot of, you got shredded lettuce, you got a 3rd-pound patty, you got 4 pieces of bacon, 2 pieces of ham, 2 fried eggs, some onion rings, and we throw a little Thousand Island on top just to top it off. All right, start from the beginning. Basically, get my patty, I'm gonna throw it down, give it a little seasoning on it. We're gonna go ahead and throw one of our buns on the grill, get that nice and toasted. I got 2 pieces of ham I threw down, got fried eggs going. I'm gonna get those going at the same time.
So this is the low-fat Yeti challenge, right?
Oh, of course it is.
Great.
I don't see any other way for it. I mean,
all right, so we're putting 2 eggs.
2 eggs down. So we got the burger going, 2 eggs. We got bread down. We got 2 pieces of ham going.
What are we putting in there?
2 onion rings.
Nice.
So then after we got everything going, let's put this thing together.
All right.
So started off.
Put a little bit of lettuce.
Little lettuce. We got some pickles.
Nice.
And the other side of you real quick, I got some tomatoes going on this. We got our ham that we threw on the grill, nice and warm.
Now, who created this Yeti challenge?
It was here before I was here. I've been here for 6 years, and it was here before I came. So I'm guessing our old kitchen manager, Brett, made this up.
Now, I have a feeling by reputation that very few people are able to finish the Yeti challenge in 5 minutes.
Yes, they try their hardest, but a lot of times they fight her out at the end. All right, so we got onion rings going. We got ham.
Ham, onion rings.
If you want to go ahead and throw the burger on for me, that'd be great.
Let's see, right here?
Yeah, right there. Just grab it, throw
Nice.
it
Oh, I see we got cheese on this. What do
on.
we got on
We got
this?
3 pieces of cheese. You got cheddar, you got mozzarella, and you got a little pepper jack.
Nice.
All right. We'll go ahead and throw an onion ring on top of that.
Another onion ring.
Yes, sir. Helps the
And 2 eggs.
2 eggs, 2 fried eggs on top of that. 4 pieces of bacon. We weren't done with it yet.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So yes, to answer your question, a low-fat diet right here.
In some states, this is technically illegal.
Finish it off
Of course.
with a nice side of fries. Gotta have some fries with it, right? The burger. There's the Yeti challenge.
Look at this monster. My God.
That's our Yeti.
Jeez. Howard, thanks so much for making the Yeti for us. I'm fearful right now, and I will hold you entirely accountable if things go wrong.
Hey, Sequoia Brewing Company.
Sequoia, that's true. So we're here at Sequoia Brewing Company getting ready to enjoy the Yeti Challenge. I'm with my co-host, James Collier. Are you nervous about this Yeti Challenge?
After seeing it in the window, it's a little bit. Just because we have to do this in 5 minutes. I feel pressure.
5 minutes. All right, well, it's going to come out, and the great thing about this is that we also have our sampler of beers. Wow.
Do you have a strategy here?
No, I don't even know what to do with this. Well, if we were to devise a strategy, I would think you'd take the onion rings out. What do you think?
Well, I don't think that counts. I'm just going to make this as flat as I can get it.
All right, I'm going to take my onion rings out and eat them on the side, and you're just going to flatten it.
Yeah, I think if it looks like a normal burger, mentally I'm ready.
All right. May the best man prevail.
Select your beer?
I'm going to go for the pale ale.
I'll go with something light.
All right. Here we go. Good bacon. I mean, but literally, a regular bite is so filling.
Oh, it's dripping.
This guy earlier said he did it in 1 minute and 15 seconds. Dude, somebody get a polygraph on that man? That's impossible. Clearly, the Yeti Challenge is not for the faint at heart or the small stomachs. This has been an insanely difficult challenge, and I'm a big guy. I'm 6'4". I have a big appetite. I'm joined by James. I think he had a better psychological approach to this. He squished it down, and I thought I would take out my onion rings, which I still didn't end up finishing. And I think maybe I talked too much and drank too much beer earlier, which I shouldn't have done. But I got to tell you, look at this plate. Now the rule says at Sequoia Brewing Company, you got to finish the burger and all its inclusive parts, but not the potatoes. You've done so. You have finished the Yeti challenge, and I got to tell you, I just been bested. You brought a bigger appetite today and a better strategy.
I guess I just really like to eat. and I like a challenge, so.
Congratulations, I've been bested by James Collier, but you know what? This will not be the last of our challenges, so on to the next one.
Here's the heartburn.
Here's the heartburn. Here's the cholesterol. So we're here with Michelle Kendall, the owner of Sequoia Brewing Company in the Tower District. Michelle, thanks for opening up Sequoia Brewing to us today for the Yeti Challenge. Maybe you can comment on how this went today.
It went well. It went good. He finished it less than 5 minutes.
That's
so
impressive.
Barely, but I'll take it.
And if you want to do it, we have it at the Champaign and Perrin location also with a record of 1 minute and 14 seconds up there.
And that's been verified, 1 minute and 14
Yes.
seconds. I don't know how that's possible, but because James Collier did such a great job, you have a gift that you want to present to him. And what is this?
If you finish the Yeti within 5 minutes, you get a free shirt that you conquered the Yeti at Sequoia Brewing Company. So I'd like to give this to you.
Thank
to
you
wear.
very much. I will wear this proudly.
Do you have any final comments on how the Yeti Challenge went today, James?
That my hat's off to the guy that can do it in 1 minute and 14 seconds. I'm proud to have barely got in under 5 minutes, but it's a good challenge. Now I just need a little bit more beer.
That's exactly what we're looking forward to. Well, thanks so much,
You're
Michelle. It was a
welcome. Thank
pleasure.
you.
And to my opponent, great job.
Good effort.
Until next time, this is Taste of the Valley. This episode of Taste of the Valley is brought to you by Saladino's, connecting family, friends, and food.